Welcome everybody to this week's episode of Ant on Music. I, of course, am your humble host, Ant, and we're going to have a little bit of everything as far as this week's goes. Multiple genres. Got a very warm reception to last week's video of the Rush R50 box set. And, I'm still listening to it. It's phenomenal. Lots to dig through. Great stuff. Lots of good reading in there. I want to thank everybody that came and checked it out. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Really appreciate all the viewership and all the support. Makes me feel good. I like having a lot more people checking out the channel. It's definitely very cool. So, got some stuff that was released last week, but because we spent all of our time on the Rush box set, we didn't get into it. I wanted to keep that just as it was. Let's get right into it. We're going to pick up kind of like where Rush left off, and that was with Alex Lifeson. All right, so Alex Lifeson has a new group out called Envy of None. They've put out their second album. They had an EP in between the two. It's up there behind me, behind the Rush box set, called Envy of None is the name of the band. New album is called Stygian Waves. Okay, very dark, dystopic type of title there. And I'll be honest with you, the first go around, I wasn't very thrilled with the first Envy of None album. And I was like, it really didn't do much for me. I'm thinking, though, after listening to the new one, I may have to go back and give it another shot. Okay, reason being is I really dig this new album. It just came out. I've listened to it probably, I think, 2.5 times so far, and it's growing on me. I will say this, vocals by Maya Wynn, fantastic. Of course, you got Alex Lifeson on guitar, and Alex actually throws in about 4 solos on this album, which was quite different from the last album. We're not talking, killer Rush solos like he had, like saying something like YYZ or anything like that. But it is really cool to see him practicing his craft and adding that little texture in, that little voice of his guitar solo. You definitely can tell that it's Alex. Also on the album is Andy Curran, who was the bass player for Connie Hatch, who was big in the 80s, and they were signed to the Anthem label, same as Rush, and also Alf Annabellini, who is the keyboard player, slide guitar player, backing vocals, and he does the mixing and recording. So that's pretty cool. So let's take a look at the album itself. This is the new album cover, Envy of None, Stygian Waves right there. And this is available from Kscope in a multitude of formats. I went with the simple, basic black album on this one, mostly because I really wasn't thrilled with the first one. And now I'm kind of disappointed myself that I didn't get one of the bigger formats. So who knows? Maybe we'll see that pop up in a few weeks. The album itself, blue sleeve, black vinyl, very simple, as far as the labels go. It has the song tracks on each, like you would find on any record, nothing spectacular there. It also comes with this little insert, which gives you the liner notes as well as the album credits right there. So you got your lyrics, your liner notes right there. And there are some standout tracks. They've released a couple of these already. It started off with, they put out a single at Halloween called Not Dead Yet, kind of a poke to the fact that Alex Lifeson's still here and they're still digging away. The latest single is next on the album. It's called The Story, which is actually really good. There's a video for it. You should check it out. When you're done with me here, head on over to the Envy of None page here on YouTube and check that out. You have Under the Stars, also another really good track. Thrill of the Chase, Handle with Care, I dig that one. That Was Then, which was on the EP. And is released here as well. Really good tune. Raindrops, I really like the feel of that. New Trip, Clouds, and then you have The End, which is a great track, and Stygian Waves. From listening to the album, aside from having Alex Lifeson on it, which is always a big plus for me, and the fact that he is mixing more of his, guitar pyrotechnics back into the mix, Maya Wynn's voice is phenomenal. She's got a beautiful voice. There are parts and pieces here and there where not so much the power, but I hear like almost like elements of Amy Lee from Evanescence in there. I don't know. You tell me otherwise. I mean that's what I'm hearing. But she does have a phenomenal voice. Great young singer. I believe she's like 28 years old, so she's the baby in the band. But definitely may want to check this one out. Envy of None, Stygian Waves, K-Scope Records. All right. So now we're going to get a little heavier, a lot heavier, a whole lot heavier. This is an anniversary edition. Just picked it up. Last year was the 35th anniversary. For some reason, they had like a 35th anniversary edition that they're celebrating this year of the album. But this is a great band from San Francisco, one of the titans of thrash metal, one of my favorites. Had an opportunity to meet them back in the day, and very cool dudes, very, very nice. And saw them on this tour. They actually played the nightclub that I worked in at the time, and they left a huge impression on me. What a great band live, and just great guys hanging out backstage, talking about San Francisco's own Testament with the Practice What You Preach album. And this one is on what they're deeming Orange and Bone vinyl. My copy was more orange than bone. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at the packaging with it as well. And I would say it's more orange than anything. Got a little bit of white in there here and there. Didn't get much on the bone end of things, and the labels are cool because it has the album cover on it. It's almost like I would say creamsicle colored, if you may. And this is a great album from Testament. This was their third long player, and this is being released on Nuclear Blast Records. It has in here picture of the band with liner notes as well as the lyrics, and this is the classic lineup of Testament with Chuck Billy, Greg Christensen, Louis Clemente, who looks to be about 5 years old in this picture, the one and only Alex Skolnick, and of course Eric Peterson, and back of the album cover there. And this has the title track on here, Perilous Nation, Envy Life, Time Is Coming, Blessed in Contempt, Greenhouse Effect, love that song, Sins of Omission, The Ballad, great song from Testament, Nightmare, Coming Back to You, and Confusion Fusion. So this is a very cool album. Testament, glad to have this on vinyl because I have it on CD, and I was really happy when they put out the anniversary edition of this and able to add it to my first two albums that I have on LP, The Legacy. And if you go way back, one of my early episodes, I show you the autographed edition. I have autographed by the entire band from when I met them. The New Order, which is probably, for me, their best album of the early albums. Now, moving right along, this is kind of unusual because I didn't really know about these guys until until recently, and I was kind of like, all right, well, what is this? And it's Charlie Griffiths. All right, if you know who Charlie Griffiths is, Charlie Griffiths is the guitarist, one of the guitarists in one of my favorite newer bands, Haken. All right, Haken is an English progressive metal band, and they are phenomenal. Got to see them live a couple of years back here in the Northeast in the Ridgefield Theater in Connecticut. Now, Charlie, I didn't realize Charlie had a side project called, of all things, Tiktaalika. All right, and I was kind of like, well, what is this? So I saw the cover of the album, and I was like, wow, doesn't seem like it would be Charlie, and it is really, really cool. So the name of the album is called Gods of Pangea, or Pangea is how you want to pronounce it. And Dan Goldsmith does the artwork on this. And Dan actually did the artwork on the first album up here, which is very Roger Dean-esque. And if, I would have seen this when this came out and known it was Charlie, I probably would have picked it up immediately. Just based on the cover, no Charlie was involved. And boy, I would have had the crap shocked out of me because it sounds nothing like what you would expect. This is basically an old school thrash album from the 90s. I mean, the cover kind of gives you those vibes. Why we have dinosaurs near a church, God only knows. As well as more dinosaurs near a church on the gatefold here. And, you know, it really is a freaking balls out heavy, 90s thrash album. If you dig Megadeth, if you dig Sanctuary, bands like that, you're gonna love this. The name is almost, to me, I don't know where he got the name from, but Tiktaalika sounds like he almost took TikTok and Metallica and squashed them together and came up with his own name. I really should look and see how he came up with the name. And this is on a beautiful magenta vinyl. And if you look at the label there, we have a triceratops and a pentagram. Pretty funky. So this album is very cool. Definitely worth checking out, as is the first one. I was so impressed with this that I went back and picked up the first one as well. I was like, holy smokes, this is good stuff. Also in the album, I'm going to show you the hype sticker here, because it's Charlie and along with a whole bunch of guest vocalists, as you can see there on the hype sticker. And it comes with this insert, almost like a dinosaur skin there, very reptilian in nature. And it has the liner notes on the other side as well as the lyrics. And from a track standpoint, it's not a lot of tracks, but they're good. Very good album. Kicks off with Tyrannicide, which really just kicks ass. Title track, Gods of Pangea, just continues in that manner. Forbidden Zone. Mesozoic Mantras, which has a really cool intro to it. Fault Lines, Give Up the Ghost, and it finishes off with Lost Continent, which is also outstanding. And this is on Inside Out Music. You may want to check this one out. Charlie Griffiths with Tiktaalika and the Gods of Pangea. All right, so this is definitely a hot pick for the week. I was pleasantly surprised when I listened to this one. So if you dig thrash, old school thrash, you're definitely going to dig this one. It's very, very cool. Now we're going to change gears. Take it from high gear and turn it from 80s, late 80s, early 90s thrash back to the 70s. Now here's an album I showed you a couple of weeks back. All right, not showing it to you again. I'm showing you another version of it. Why? Because I can. And this is one of my favorite up-and-coming artists. All right, now, you've heard me talk about this guy ad nauseum. Neal Francis O'Hara is by stage name Neal Francis, and he is out on tour. And this was the other version I mentioned that I was waiting for. Cool thing about this copy of the album, comes with this almost like newspaper like poster, very 70s vibe to it. The album cover itself, which we've talked about the album, so I'm not going to go into that in like any great shape or fashion. As you can see it there, that's unsigned. Here's my autographed copy. That one was like a cloudy blue in color. The inside's the same, but the vinyl itself, this is different. This is a gorgeous forest green for the album Return to Zero. And as I've said every time I've talked about Neal Francis, if you dig 70s style, soul, funk, rock and roll, definitely worth checking out. This album is, a worthy successor to the last one. And I'm hoping that he comes on tour at some point this summer through the Eastern New York, Connecticut area, so I can go check him out again and drag my wife and some friends to check them out and get them to join me in enjoying this album. Finally, all right, going all over the place. Like I said, multiple genres this week. This one came out last week as well, and it's a re-release, and it's a greatest hits package, and it's one of those things like last week I did the huge Rush R50, right? And that had a lot of bonus content on there, stuff that had never been heard before, or released by the band before, which is really cool. This album was released by the band several years back, but it was, not done in chronological order, which really, for the most part, doesn't really matter when it comes to bands' greatest hits packages. With this band, and I'm talking about Talk, this is their career-spanning, chronologically ordered greatest hits package. And I'm a big Talk fan, okay? And if you've only listened to the singles, you'd be like, oh, they're an 80s synth pop band. It's like, and yeah, they were. They started off. The coolest thing about Talk Talk is they kind of, you know, got more and more ethereal, more and more ambient as time went on. It was almost like Mark Hollis, who passed away several years back. Rest in peace, Mark. It's almost as if he was withdrawing more and more from music and society, and the albums became more ethereal, more ambient, more nature inspired almost. It was almost like he was fading away and becoming a wallflower. It was like he was disappearing, and that's the cool thing about this greatest hits package, is that since it's in chronological order, you can hear all the stuff on here, like the first couple of singles, Talk Talk, Today, Have You Heard the News? Then you get into the big singles, It's My Life, Such a Shame, Dum Dum Girl, Life's What You Make It, which is a phenomenal, phenomenal song, Living in Another World, Give It Up. Then you have April 5th, and I always listen to that album when that comes up, Color of Spring, when April rolls around. Time is Time, I Believe in You, Eden, Wealth, and New Grass. All right. And this is a gatefold. Like I said, it's almost like they're slowly getting out of focus entirely. It's like I said, like they're totally withdrawing from the world. And you have your lyrics, nothing on the back there. And since it is a 2-album set, you have your track listing and lyrics there, and it is, it's basic black with the bird from the cover on there. Very neat. But if you've never listened to them, or if you don't listen to the single, this is definitely a great way to go. This is a really fantastic representation of what they do, and what their career was like, and even more so, if you can find it. I have it in my collection. Mark Hollis, before he passed, released one solo album. If you can find that and check that out, that's definitely worth listening to if you dig this stuff. So that is everything I have for you this week on And On Music. I want to thank you all again for coming and checking out the channel. I really, really do appreciate it. Come back next week. I think next week's going to be a little more towards the metal end of things as well. I know there's some new releases that are on the horizon that I'm going to be checking out. And then we have the national holiday for all record collectors, that are music addicted, with Record Store Day 2025 coming to a local record store near you. And I'm sure if you're like me, if you're a digger, you're going to be out there checking out all the goodies. The list is online at recordstoreday.com for you to check out and start making your list, and hoping that Santa Claus pays you a visit in April with a big sack of vinyl for you to check out, or CD as it may be. So that's everything. Thank you once again for checking out the channel. Really do appreciate it. And as I always say, peace, one love, music. I'm out.